This city of about 80,000 people may be the most colorful, intriguing, and historic Moroccan coastal town that, while certainly known, is less traveled. It was a famous off-the-radar haunt for the likes of Jimi Hendrix and Cat Stevens during the 1960s. More recently, it was a shooting location for Game of Thrones. And did I mention that the beaches just outside the city's walls are spectacular? I don't mean to imply anything at all negative about Marrakesh because I love the place. But the Medina is, shall we say, a bit chaotic and noisy and too filled with motorcycles. And I bring this up because the moment I arrived in this place, it's a whole different deal. It's relaxing, and I guess that's as it should be for an ancient city on the ocean front. For all of its existence, Essaouira has benefited from a single geographic attribute. The ocean curves inward here, creating a 5-mile-long natural bay with a cape at the north end. Besides the Portuguese, at one time or another, Spain, England, the Netherlands, and France each had ambitions to claim the former Mogador without lasting success. The Portuguese actually built a fortress not only here, but in 5 other Moroccan locations in a bid to control this coastline, only to see resistance from locals drive them out. In the first half of the 1800s, Essaouira was Morocco's leading port and also its chief city for international diplomacy. But a series of events starting with French military attacks to colonization of Morocco by the French in 1912, and more recently the departure of the Jewish community after independence in 1956, saw the town go into a steep decline. But since the 90s, when tourists began to find the place, it's been a veritable boomtown, although perhaps due to relative isolation, it's thankfully in no danger of losing its character. The would-be conqueror's biggest contribution probably turned out to be the architecture left behind. The ruined fortifications with their largely intact ramparts, beside which I'm walking at the moment, give the city a kind of mystical ambiance. Well, I just entered the area between the outer and inner walls of the ramparts to have my first view from the top of the wall. These ramparts are what's left of the fort built by the Portuguese in the 1760s to protect what was then Mogador from would-be invaders. Today you'll hear it referred to as the Scala do Port, which means steps of the port because of the elevation it provides. I'm about to enter the Bastion Nord, or the North Bastion of this incredible fortress wall. When I come out into the open space, you may not be able to hear me for the static because it's very, very windy. You have to climb up to this fortification for no other reason than this is the best place in town to look down on the old town, the Medina, on one side and the ocean on the other. The solid sound of the ocean just makes me think about what it must have been like the 18th, early 19th century with Portuguese soldiers assigned here. There could have been worse places to be stationed in Morocco at the time. Well, what better way to start a morning than with a walk on the beach. This beach extends for several miles along the curvature of this bay. I'm looking ahead and see at least 5 construction cranes, which I suppose portends new hotel development, but is still, at this stage, underdeveloped, I would say. And I mean that in a good way. If you keep walking down this beach, you'll come to an estuary. And just on the other side is a hulking ruin of an old stone watchtower. There are 2 popular myths associated with it. One is that people here refer to it as the Portuguese castle, although it's of Arab origin. And the second one is that it is often said to have been the inspiration for the Jimi Hendrix song, Castles Made of Sand. The only problem with that is that that song was published before he ever visited here. There's windsurfing, kite surfing, riding 4-wheelers, and yet there's room to roam here. And you can throw down a beach towel and enjoy plenty of solitude. This is, after all, a fishing town. Its rush hour is near sunset, when many fishermen return with their catch, but just about any time of the day. You can come here and watch people mend their boats, or resew their nets, or bring in their catch. You can actually buy the catch fresh off the docks here. It was Morocco's largest port during the 19th century and well into the 20th century. It's still very vibrant. Fresh catch. I didn't see any sardines in that run. I saw a lot of shrimp though.
I found 3 kinds of fishermen at the port. Those fishing, those who were just finished fishing, and those preparing to fish. 4, if you count future fishermen.
Well, this lovely plaza just outside the Medina is Orson Welles Plaza. There has been a statue of Mr. Welles here, and yet this is the second time I've walked through this plaza with my head on a swivel, as they say, looking for the statue, and I haven't found it. So I went to a kind lady who works for the Association of Tour Guides at their office nearby, and she says, yes, this is Orson Welles Plaza, but I do not believe there's a statue here, which to me can only mean one thing, that it's been removed. I don't expect to find out why, if that is the case. But if I'm wrong and it's here and I've missed it, and any of you have been here and have seen it, please drop me a line to let me know. I've entered the souq, which is near the center of the sprawling Medina. There's more of a daily commerce atmosphere here, more local, I would say. There's fruit and produce being sold in the shops and in the alleyways, more practical things for the people who live here. Even during the hottest weather, it stays fairly comfortable. And I don't mean just inside, but outside. And of course, for the logical reason that there's always a shadow. I'm on one of the widest streets, I guess the widest street within this Medina. It's like a boulevard. There are no cars in here. Most of the streets, as you've seen, are really narrow alleyways. They're only exposed to direct sunlight for small periods of the day when the sun is high overhead. So it's a great natural air conditioner. What could be better than being on a beautiful Moroccan coastal town with such charm and history on such a beautiful blue sky day with a cool ocean breeze? It could be worse.